Kim here, Little Biz Resources, and today I want to talk about offering rewards or loyalty programs as a service, even if you don't have any experience. Now, this is a multi-part series. This is the fourth video, and the first video covered all 9 of the services as an overview. The second video talked about ideas for reaching out to find customers or clients in general, and the 3rd through 11th videos will talk about each of the services in more detail. Now, all of these videos are meant to help you get started if you want to offer different services. Links for additional resources will be in each video description on YouTube, or you can see all the videos and more information at littlebizresources.com/9services. Now, before I go further, I want to tell you this video is not going to talk about how to create the rewards and loyalty programs, because we use the software program Rewardsly. There's a link to my Rewardsly review in the description if you want to see that. All right, so we're going to focus on the idea of selling it and go from there, okay? All right, so this is service 2, offering rewards and loyalty programs as a service. Some considerations for this particular training. The purpose of this video is to give you a better idea of the service and then give you ideas on how you can promote the service. The owners of the particular software programs mentioned will have more information and resources specific to what you purchase. In this case, Rewardsly. They're going to have more details and suggestions on how to promote the service, especially the Rewardsly agency upsell. Okay. All right. So what is a rewards or loyalty program? Now, rewards and loyalty tend to be interchangeable, and that's because you're typically rewarding people who are loyal to the business, right? That's what a rewards program does. So the entire presentation revolves around the idea of using Rewardsly to create the rewards or loyalty program. So keep that in mind. So if you have a different program and you're like, hey, that doesn't really work for me, that's because as I'm talking about this, I'm thinking about Rewardsly. I do mention sweepstakes in here, but that's not part of the services. So there is a link in the description. Just keep in mind that sweepstakes and rewards and loyalty programs are different, but I am going to sneak in a little bit of a discussion in there for those of you who also offer that. Now, rewards or loyalty programs are common for many types of businesses, and we're going to talk more on that later. These specifically give rewards for purchases, right? So this is not for people you could have it for people coming and visiting your location, but typically you offer it when you offer a reward of some sort, usually by points, so they can work towards an ultimate reward. So for example, buy 10 sub sandwiches and get 1 free. So every time they come in, they get their, if you remember the old, at least this is the way it was when I was a kid, you go in, you take your little card in there and they would stamp it, right? Now, of course, people could cheat back then, but for the most part, I don't think it got abused too much, but it probably, well, I may have, and that's part of the reason why this is so beneficial is those old school loyalty programs they got abused, right? Now, something to think about, and I kind of put this in here just as something to start planting that seed in there, is that some businesses may give digital rewards instead, especially today, right? These days, a lot of people are trying to stay home, and if you can reward them, even if they're buying and having stuff delivered or they're buying online, and you can give them some sort of digital reward that keeps the cost down for the business and still rewards people for their purchases. So it's just something to keep in mind to offer when you think about offering additional services, maybe an ebook service or copywriting, stuff like that, right? We'll talk more about that. So what types of businesses can use a rewards or loyalty program? Now, theoretically, most businesses could utilize a rewards or loyalty program. I'm still going to argue that roofing companies, probably not so much. But I would steer clear of businesses with low profit margins. And this is not easy to tell all the time because, people might say that places like Walmart, which Walmart does have a low profit margin, and I don't think they have a rewards program. And there's a reason why. And that's because they just keep their costs down and they just don't have to worry about it, right? They don't have to do the things we're going to talk about later. But plenty of other retail locations, and I'll talk about some of them, but plenty of other retail locations, they have rewards programs and still have pretty much low margins, similar low margins. So clearly it's not so low of a margin that it doesn't warrant, that retail wouldn't warrant a loyalty program of some sort. So it's not always easy to tell, but if you just happen to know, you're like, hey, I know this industry, they have low profit margins, then I would probably not even offer this as the first thing. I'd work with something else first. And the reason why is because they're not likely to have the overhead or that gap to be able to offer rewards. So if somebody comes in and buys $10 worth of stuff and they only make $1 off of it, they go, okay, after your 10th purchase, you're going to be able to buy something, a $10 item for free. They're not making any money, right? Because they're getting $1 profit each time. After 10 times, they don't make any money because there's just a break even in this case. So, I mean, there could be a strategy to that, but I wouldn't recommend it. So if you know that that is the case, I would just steer clear or start thinking of digital things for that, right? Now, some local businesses, I'm going to say local coffee stops. I say coffee shops, but that could work as well. But, you know, if like a Starbucks, but not Starbucks, because Starbucks is a chain and they probably already have their own system set up. I don't go there, so I don't know. But the chains are going to be a little bit harder only because it's going to be much harder to implement and a lot more work on your end. So you'd want something probably bigger for that. Pizza places are perfect. My husband loves to buy pizza from Domino's. Why? Because he can get a free pizza. I don't know how he does. He gets free pizza every now and again. And I'm like, I hate Domino's. So I don't eat it. I have to eat gluten-free and their gluten-free stuff is not very good. So we don't typically go there except for when my husband wants pizza because he can get a free pizza. Right? And that keeps them coming back, but we always buy more, right? That's the idea behind these programs, right? So think mom and pop grocery stores as well. Even service-based businesses. I mean, digital marketing, if you're offering, think about your own business, you're offering digital marketing services. Let's say that you're doing SEO services and you're like, you know what? Every 6 months, I don't mind popping in. They're paying me pretty good money for every month. So every 6 months that they stay with me, I'll offer them, a $50 credit for, you know, whatever the other services are that you offer. So if you offer like ebook creation, you can say, look, you can claim an ebook creation thing or whatever. So think of other ones, you know, like landscapers, things that would generate repeat business anyway, because if they're already getting repeat business, it's easier to implement a rewards or loyalty program because people are like, hey, I'm eager to be able to save money eventually or to get something else from what I'm already making those purchases on. And the reason why is because then they'll tell their friends and everything else, right? So this is the idea behind it, is building that loyalty. So if you think of people who would be loyal to specific businesses, now landscapers, people may not be necessarily loyal to them, but they're going to be if they do a good job and they're offering them, you know, some sort of reward after so many months of paying for it, right? So that could still work. Now, focus on the businesses that have repeat buyers already, like I said, because again, if they already have repeat buyers, that means that people are already loyal to them and they want to be loyal to them, right? Because the rewards and loyalty program emphasizes repeat buyers. And this is essentially a way to get those already buying to buy more, right? So if you have somebody who's they're like, hey, I'm paying for a landscaper and I'm paying them to come twice a week. Maybe they really need them to come 3 times a week or an extra one day for something else, right? And so they may be more likely to make that purchase, and landscaping is probably not the best example. So you might think, well, pizza as an example, right? Oh, hey, I buy pizza every Friday, let's say. Okay, you know what? It's not quite, we just had pizza last night, or last Friday, and now it's Tuesday. And hey, you know what? Maybe I want to get pizza again. And since I have a free pizza, I'm going to go ahead and do it tonight. And then of course I'm buying that second pizza or the third pizza or whatever it is, right? And that's how a rewards and loyalty program kind of works. So what is the value of a rewards or loyalty program? So again, the purpose of these programs is to increase repeat business. So according to Shopify, at least for e-commerce, once someone buys a second time, so they've already bought a first time, now once they buy a second time, the chance of them purchasing again jumps to 45%. And I think the first time range significantly, like 20 to 30%, even less than that. So if you can get them hooked after the first purchase to make a second purchase, they're more likely to make another purchase. And then after a fourth purchase, it jumps to 56%. So, and don't let those numbers discourage you by any means. These are good numbers, right? This is, I'll tell you, I sell on Etsy, and I think my percentage of repeat buyers, while it tends to be high, it probably is about 20 to 30%. And if I can get them to make another and once they've bought from me a couple times, they just keep buying from me, right? My sister's the same way. And that's because they like it, they rely on it, it's familiar to them, and they're going to keep doing it. So if you can get in front of them, you can keep reminding them about you being there, well, your client can be there, then they're going to keep buying. And that's the whole idea behind these programs, is to incentivize additional purchases. There is a psychological element to earning rewards. especially if they appear as a monetary value. So if it feels like they're going to miss out, right? So Kohl's is a really good example of this. So Kohl's gives Kohl's Cash, for those who don't know. And so somebody goes in, they buy whatever they're going to buy, and maybe say they buy a couple $100 worth of stuff, and they end up getting $50 in Kohl's Cash. So they have to earn it during, like, they earn it, and then that period ends, and then like the next week they can use it. And if you think about that, the person earns the $50 in basically free merchandise, right? So whatever that is. And I'm sure there's restrictions and stuff, but let's just keep it simple. Now, some of those people, if they don't go in there and spend that money, I'm going to tell you, a lot of these people, not just some, a lot of people, right? They're like, I have $50 of Kohl's Cash. That's equivalent to cash for people. I mean, it really is. So if they don't spend it, even though it doesn't cost them anything one way or the other, they're, if they didn't get it, it doesn't matter. They still would have bought that other stuff probably. They feel like they lost the money. So instead, they don't want them to have that feeling of missing out, so they'll go and buy it. I see this all the time. I have family, I have friends, they all do this. And they all go in there and they're like, I have to spend the money. And when they do, they spend more money, right? So they go in there and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to get $200 worth of stuff. And okay, I've saved $50, now I have $150. Oh, now I have $40 in Kohl's Cash, whatever it calculates out to be. And they go back, and so the next week they go back in. So it's bringing them back in every single week. Right. And that's that cycle. I do this with Michael's too. It's a craft place. So I'll buy stuff, for my daughter or whatever, and I'll get $10 Kohl's not Kohl's, it's Michael's Cash, Michael's Rewards Cash, whatever it is. And I'm like, oh man, I don't want to lose out on the $10. So then I go into the store and I buy another $100 worth of stuff, get another $10. And I'm like, oh, why? So eventually you either miss out on it or you figure out how to even that out and just get the $10 worth, right? But the idea behind the rewards programs is that it keeps people coming back and buying again and again. Now, does this replace email marketing? Because, a lot of people think that, well, if I'm offering them rewards, I don't have to necessarily send out emails. But it does not replace email marketing. In fact, this is complementary or works with email marketing. And you can even offer this and offer app creation and management, and we'll talk more about those. But you can see how all of these work together. And that's for a communication point, right? So Rewardsly is the program that we use, and what it does is a standalone app. So you can sell it as a standalone service, and you don't require anything else, though you would want to connect it to an email marketing platform, and that would be the email integration, right? So you connect the email integration, connect your favorite autoresponder or their autoresponder, your client's autoresponder, or if you're offering that service, then you can connect the autoresponder and manage it, and then you can just set up weekly or bi-monthly reminders to direct your Rewardsly signups back to check their rewards, right? And then give them some incentive to purchase, maybe double rewards day, bonus rewards for purchases on slow days, etc. And that'll increase the amount of orders that they make, right? So let's think about pizza again. So if somebody goes, okay, well, I get pizza every Friday, and then Tuesday they're like, hey, you get double rewards today. And you're like, whoa, I get double rewards if I buy pizza today. I'm going to buy pizza today too. And I'm still going to buy it on Friday because that's the day I buy pizza. People don't switch. They just keep going. Now, some people may switch. I'm just saying that tends to be, people like to have rewards, and they like to be able to feel like they're getting something for free or for discounted or whatever. Now, here's a potential communication flow. You can see I've got the cash register to represent the purchase. And ideally what happens is that when they purchase, you're capturing their email, they're going into the rewards program, and they're downloading your app. That would be the ideal scenario, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to happen that way. No matter what, you want to capture them in some way. So it could be one or all of them. So if they come into the rewards program, you're still capturing their email because they need to enter their email in order to access the rewards program, right? So, and that's what it's connected to, their phone and their email. So you have their email that way. And then of course, if they download the app, you can also encourage them to give their email as well, because you can have specials via email, specials via the app. And then of course, if you're offering double rewards, that would be all integrated with your rewards. So the great thing about this is that you're going to email people out. You're going to email them reminders about their rewards. Hey, have you checked your rewards? How close are you to the next reward, whatever it is, right? And then you could say, hey, use the app. If they have an app, they get the app from you or whatever, put out push notifications, right? So maybe one week you email them, the next week you're going to send out a push notification, right? Mix it in with your other push notifications. And you might say, hey, double rewards day is today or tomorrow. Make sure you purchase within that 24-hour period, whatever it is. You're going to give them those reminders and those incentives to continue to purchase. All right, so what type of customers want loyalty programs? And this is kind of important because it helps you connect with your clients, right? I'm going to tell you now, not all customers want a loyalty program. And this could be niche specific. It might not be. So you're just going to work with your clients to figure this out. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I sent out several hundred rewards scan codes, and that might be the problem is the scan codes, but we'll have to do some testing as it gets closer to Christmas. But I have Etsy customers, and it's for a supply, so not an end product. So I get repeat customers because they're making something with it, right? And because of that, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do a loyalty / rewards program for them because they're going to want to come back and buy from me rather than somebody else. I think I had one person sign up, maybe two. And so it was way less than 1% that actually signed up with the rewards program. So now in comparison, I also have a sweepstakes that's running and around 3 to 6%, and that varies depending on the time of year, the type of purchase that they're making, etc. They sign up for the sweepstakes. And that's not even with the sweepstakes isn't really set up right? So the rewards in the sweepstakes are not set up right. So once that's fine-tuned, it will likely attract more people because that is the niche it's in. And remember I mentioned that I was going to mention sweepstakes. I don't include this for a reason, right? In the 9 services, but this might be something you want to look at if you're like, hey, the audience is better with the sweepstakes. So, but if you think about this, my audience better with the sweepstakes than with a rewards program. Whereas pizza place, they're probably not going to benefit from running a sweepstakes. Why? My husband's not going to go put his name into a sweepstakes to win a pizza. Why? Because he can get a pizza by eating more pizza. So that instead, he would rather have the rewards program, loyalty program, right? So how do I find businesses that need a rewards or loyalty program? If I were offering this as a service, which I do, I just do it to select clients. So don't worry, I'm not in competition with you. I would target local businesses or smaller e-commerce stores, and I'll include a link to an alternative resource for the sweepstakes and rewards programs if you need it for something bigger, right? Now, e-commerce stores like Etsy shops or Amazon sellers could benefit from this. Businesses that have a higher chance of recurring customers are ideal. Now, not to pick on roofing companies again, but it is improbable that a roofing company is going to have a high chance of recurring customers unless they do a bad job. But then they probably won't have their customers coming back anyway. So that's the type of business you have to look for, ones that have a chance and have a pretty good chance of having recurring customers. Now, reaching out to potential clients. This is a service better sold to warm audiences. Now, I say that you can still reach out to cold audiences, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but if you think about warm audiences, offer to your existing customers if you have existing customers. And then ask your customers to introduce you to other potential customers. Then check with your friends and family. And if you're part of, any business to business organizations, etc. Because it's harder for many businesses to understand the value of it, right? Now for cold audiences, you can check the 3 different methods mentioned in video 2, which is 3 methods to find prospects and leads when offering services. You should think about targeting specific business types. So as you do research, you'll figure out kind of what appeals to you. So if you think about e-commerce, maybe a specific local niche, a certain size of business, even if you were like, hey, I want to work with businesses that have, like 1,000 regular recurring customers or something. And, trying to figure out what businesses would be best for that. So you kind of have to figure out what works best for you and do your research to see how you feel that you could pitch this, right? Because I've given you ideas. Now you just kind of have to figure out how you can connect that with the clients that are ideal for you. Check their website. So check your potential client's website, their social media, etc. Look at reviews. See if people mention buying repeated times, or hey, this is my third time here, or I always love coming here, things like that, right? Communicate the value to your customer, right? How will this benefit the client or your customer, whatever you want to call them? Now, loyalty rewards programs can help with customer retention. Businesses keep their customers longer. We talked about that. If they can, Shopify's already proved this in e-commerce, at least from their studies. They said, once they buy a second time, they're more likely to buy a third time. And once they buy a fourth time, they're really likely to buy a fifth time, 56%. So if you think about it that way, the rewards programs, because they're rewarding them, it gives them a chance to keep the customers for a longer period of time. And from a investment standpoint, especially for businesses that have a high cost for acquiring a customer, right? This is very appealing to them. And so I would think, maybe along the lines of, I want to say financial, but not necessarily. I'd have to know more about what they offer. But, if you think about how much somebody is spending to get a client, car repair companies. Now, obviously you don't want them to, if they're coming in for an accident, you hope they're not a repeat customer for that reason. But if they come in for an accident to get something repaired, perhaps they'll come back for an oil change or for their inspection if they're in those states that require that. There are a lot of different opportunities to bring people back in, and if you can capture them at the beginning and entice them into the rewards program, this is a great way to keep them coming back. And of course, increasing repeat customers. I just said, somebody who's coming in from an accident, they might be coming in because their insurance company said, hey, go to this place, right? But now that they've gone to that place, can you now capture them as a repeat customer by saying, hey, you know what? You're part of our rewards program now, right? Now, people who normally wouldn't buy a second time are more likely to make a purchase when they have good rewards enticing them. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I would have bought a second time from Michaels, not because they're bad or anything, just because I don't really buy a lot of arts and crafts stuff, but they had a specific product that they brought in back at the beginning of the year. And with the loyalty program, with them offering me rewards, I'm going, hey, you know what? I think I'll keep buying because it lowers the cost for me. So it was something that brought me back a second time and a third time and a fourth time and a fifth time because of the fact that I was able to buy something for cheaper than initially thought, right? And of course, a rewards program will increase sales overall, especially if you do it right. If you are just going, hey, you're part of a rewards program, one day we're going to give you rewards, that doesn't work. So you kind of have to entice them with the types of rewards. And this will increase sales overall. If you think back to that pizza example, right? If they're already buying pizza, they're going to buy more pizza to get to the reward faster. That's the whole idea behind selling pizzas, right? Is you want to push out as many pizzas as possible, as fast as possible, to as many people as possible. So this is another excuse to message and send notifications to customers as well, right? Push offers and make them feel good, sales will increase. So if you have a rewards program, double rewards day, triple rewards day, hey, only our rewards customers are getting this offer, things like that are going to make them feel special and feel like they're getting something that nobody else is getting. Now, what other services can you offer? You can completely sell this as a standalone service, right? I just want you to understand that you can. You can also offer app creation and maintenance, right? That was service number 1. And we talked about that, and I actually have a separate video that talks about how to add Rewardsly into Appmize if that's something that you end up doing, getting those, because it's really easy and you can do that. You can integrate the two of them very easily. Now, potential services to offer separate or as a bundle. So you could even bundle the app creation if you wanted to, but here's some other ideas, right? Creating ebooks and reports. Again, great for digital rewards. So if they're getting a rewards program from you and you say, hey, there's a digital opportunity, why don't you go ahead and have us create the digital rewards, as in the ebooks, the reports, graphics, whatever it is, right? So you can include that as part of the bundle or offer it separately or as an upsell or something, cross-sell, whatever it is. Funnel Designer. Right now, Funnel Designer. We haven't talked about this one yet in detail, but if you think about this, if your client is going to offer double rewards, they're not going to want that on their regular page. I mean, they could, but they might want it separate as well, like just for their rewards clients. And they need a funnel for that, because they're not going to just buy one thing, right? Maybe they're offering a specific t-shirt they're going to get double rewards on. And then you go, hey, you know what? Because you purchased this, so if you think of a funnel, right? That you purchased the t-shirt. Okay, now that you bought this t-shirt, why don't you add on this hat? And we're going to go ahead and double your rewards on this as well. Right? And so you keep doing that through the funnel, not forever, but for a couple of different ones, and let them earn double rewards on more than just one item. And you can now offer the funnel designer services to say, hey, look, you want to do more than just sell this t-shirt. You want to also sell complimentary items as well. Email marketing. We talked about this earlier, that this is, Rewardsly or rewards programs are complementary. So as in they work with email marketing. If your clients aren't already doing email marketing, they definitely need to add it on. And this is something you can definitely include as a bundle or as a separate service that they just upsell with it. Now, again, this particular, if you're like, hey, I don't know what to send out as emails, schedule it. Schedule out regular emails every week, once a week, every other week, whatever it is that your client's comfortable with, to make sure that they are sending out a reminder about the rewards program and enticing people back into the ecosystem. Now, sweepstakes and contests. Again, this is not part of our 9 services because it's more complex. It takes longer than 24 hours. But I'll include a link to a software that can do these and rewards programs. It's one that's, it's for more of, it's a heavier duty rewards program, right? So if you haven't seen Rewardsly, I recommend you take a look at the Rewardsly review that I did, because that'll tell you if that's even something you're interested in. This other software is one that is for more of it's more complex as far as putting it all together, and requires a little bit more know-how. They walk you through it all, but it may or may not fit, right? So I want you to take a look at both of those in case one will work for the other. Rewardsly, way cheaper, right? This other one costs more, but it is much more hardy, and it gives you the sweepstakes opportunity if your client's interested in that. Now, more on, of course, all of what we've talked about in upcoming videos, but the next video in this series is we're going to be looking at creating ebooks and reports. Links to resources are in the description. I have an ebook out, $10,000 a month with only 10 sales. Take a look at that. That link is also in the description. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and help the video spread to more people. You can join the Facebook group. The link's in the description. Surprise, surprise. And then come live on Thursdays to YouTube and ask questions. And I kept this one well under an hour, so yay! Thanks for listening, and let me know what you thought. Thanks.